Hi everyone, my name is Andreas, Managing Director of Finanzcheck. And honestly, I'm here today to tell you a little story, and the story is about the future of consumer financing. Because in the near future, when it comes to buying things, you won't be thinking about financing anymore. We truly believe that consumer financing, as we know it today, will eventually cease to exist. That's a pretty big statement, and I'd really like to tell you the story behind and why we at Finanzcheck truly believe that this is the future that we're looking at. So let's have a look into the past. This is Chris. Chris just got his first child and is thinking about buying a new car, family car, great Land Rover here. So what does he do? He goes online, he searches on a car website and finds this beautiful car and really falls in love with it. But realizes, geez, this car is really expensive, it costs like 30,000 euros. I don't really know how to finance it because I don't have the money at hand. So in the past, lots of thoughts going through his head, where can I get the money, how much does it cost, how long does it actually take to get, and which bank is actually best for me. So he thought, well, I could actually just check on that car dealer website right away. Maybe they offer car financing with it. They don't. So next question is, I could go to my bank. There's this great sales consultant. No, I'm not going to talk to him. I'm pretty sure he's just going to try to sell me an expensive product with rather one-sided interest, so probably not the best way to do. So he continues to think, well, maybe since I'm sitting in front of my PC anyhow, I could just check the web and type into Google consumer financing. What do I find? Geez, so many websites, so many banks, so many marketplaces and comparison websites, endless, so to speak, and basically too many offerings, too much data that needs to be provided, really a hassle to get an overview what kind of offering would be best for me. So you can think that probably Chris is already quite innovative, so he thinks maybe I could go to my local broker. I mean, I talked to him last month about home financing. Geez, nope, he only does home improvement loans. Most of the brokers don't do consumer financing in Germany. Last but not least, takes out his fintech app, looks at it, realizes they offer some kind of advice, but there's no real way to get a loan right away, instantly. So that's basically it. Last thought going through his head is, I'll deal with that some other time. So I ask you, how many chances did we miss to get into business with Chris? 5. 5 times we could have sold a loan, we could have made a deal and actually sell the car. Probably at this point in time, we haven't even sold the car yet. So, obviously, that had to change. We must not lose out on all these chances to get into business, and that's exactly what we do. We provide real-time money access, anytime, anywhere. That's exactly what Chris would need in that moment. And that's what we do. We connect consumers and money supply in a marketplace model with a wide variety of bank products. And our mantra basically is that we enable for money. So how does it work? Pretty simple. We have borrowers and we have lenders, and we bring them together on a marketplace. That's pretty simple. But beneath that model, we have an underlying technology platform. And that platform combines all sorts of front-end technology, such as mobile device technology, online identification, online verification, anything that is needed to have a very lean, very simple, and fully digitalized application process. But also, we have a large number of banks that are being plugged into our platform through an API system. We have algorithms that allow us to predict interest rates and to figure out which bank is best for the consumer. So how large is this platform? Well, we started in 2012, and since then we have been generating more than 15 million connections between consumers and banks that eventually turned into business at some point in time. So we solved Chris' problem. How does the world look like today? Well, coming back to these 5 examples, let me pick out 3. We partner with AutoScout and Finance Scout and enable all customers on that platform that are searching for cars to get car financing as well in the same customer journey. And it makes sense because 25% of all cars in Germany are financed anyhow. Same with brokers. We increase product offering for brokers, for instance, Interhyp, which we recently closed a deal with, enabling 5,000 brokers to offer consumer financing to their customers. And last but not least, we also partner with fintech apps such as Bonify, providing them access to consumer financing and providing that to their customers. Of course, that's pretty interesting because you can monetize your customers up to 1,000 euros. So what makes this business model work? Why is it so interesting to be in the marketplace segment? Well, as for many business models, you're always successful when you have something that's twice as good for half the price. And this is exactly what we do. What's twice as good in a marketplace? If Chris were to go to his bank, there's a 40 to 50% chance that he would actually get an offer from that bank, which is not really high. So in order to get a comparable basis of offers in the market, you have to go to a large number of banks. And this is exactly what we do, thus bringing the level up to 90%. So we can service almost everyone in the market. Raphael was just on stage. Aux Money is also partnering with us. That's how we get to the 90%. So we have twice the chance to offer to our customers. But it's also interesting for banks. Why is that the case? Well, let's look at a set of customers. Most players in the market take one customer, send it to a large number of banks, sell it as a lead. We turned the model upside down, and we decided we have a set of banks, we look at it, and we select the right customers and channel them directly to that bank. It's way more efficient and allows some banks to reduce their customer cost up to 50%. So you might have thought in the beginning that we're just a marketplace, but we're way more than that. We're a fully agile and independent technology platform. We brokered more than 2.5 billion in the past 5 years and have now a team of 200 very enthusiastic and tech-driven people in Hamburg working to make this marketplace the largest one in Germany. So what's next? Why do we actually have to think about the next step in this industry? Isn't the marketplace already a great model? Well, it's not the end of it. Why? Because from today on, it's all about the consumer and not the banks. Why is that? Well, look at that model. We're bringing together two parties. We're bringing together consumers and banks. Wouldn't it be way more interesting and way more efficient to turn that direction, close that gap, and bring the banks all the way to the consumer, making it a lot easier for the average consumer in Germany? How do you do that? Well, let's get back to Chris. Chris is sitting in his living room, searching for the car. What will be the shortest distance? Why not this one? Alexa, can you get me 20,000 to buy me this car? This will happen soon. Or maybe even shorter than that. Before I actually start thinking about financing the car, maybe AI comes around and tells me, Chris, I see you try to buy that car. Want it now? I can make it happen. So these are just two examples of what we believe will be an explosion of distribution channels in the market. Many, many more channels coming in. So an exponential growth here. That's not the end of it. One more step. Once we close the gap, is that it? Probably not. We still have to think about the product itself. We have to deliver the right product to the consumer. Basically, we have to focus on the consumer only and delivering whatever he needs. And what's that? Let's take an example. What do banks like? They like Mr. Perfect. Raphael said it. Fixed income, right job, and so on. What do they not like? Everyone else. So that's what has to change. Banks have to really focus on the consumer, deliver the right product, and thus really focus on all the different segments, which will eventually end up in a fundamental change in product design and diversity compared to today. So instead of bringing together two parties, let's make it easier. Let's close the loop, and Finanzcheck ultimately becomes a liquidity solution provider. And that closes the loop to my first slide when I said consumer financing will cease to exist because in the future, we will provide money on demand. Thank you.